Hello everyone, wishing you all a lovely morning. So today let us discuss a new chapter, that is chapter 13, photosynthesis in higher plants. So we have divided this part by part. First we will learn about the overview of photosynthesis, and in the second part we will learn raw materials of the photosynthesis. What are the raw materials that which we are used in the photosynthesis? Then we will learn the mechanism of photosynthesis. So the C3 cycle, C4 cycle, everything we will learn in details in the third part, the mechanism of photosynthesis. And the last part here we have the factors affecting the photosynthesis. So what are the external factors? What are the internal factors that which is affecting the photosynthesis? We will learn. So first let us discuss the overview of photosynthesis. First let us learn the definition of photosynthesis. So we are all familiar with the definition of photosynthesis because from the primary classes onwards we are learning what is photosynthesis. So let us recall what we have learned. The formation of glucose from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and water is termed as photosynthesis. So we are all familiar with this. Once again, I do repeat, just recalling the things that which we have learned in the primary classes. So the formation of glucose from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and water, that is termed as photosynthesis. So this is a simple definition given here. So let us have the overview of this chapter. So we will be learning the factors affecting the photosynthesis, the external factors. At the same time, we will be learning the internal factors also. So the external factors, it could be light, it could be carbon dioxide concentration, it could be temperature, it could be water. And in the internal factors, we will be learning the chlorophyll concentration, the leaf phase, the photosynthesis, etc. We will be learning in the internal factors. Next, we will be learning the sites of photosynthesis. So what are the sites of photosynthesis? We all know that the leaf is the site of photosynthesis. We call stem as the photosynthesis, sepals, we call it as those portion as the sites of the photosynthesis. Then we have here the photosynthetic pigments. So what are the photosynthetic pigments? PS1 and PS2. What is PS1 and PS2? Photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. It is of includes P700 and P680. What do you understand by P700 and P680? The light absorbance, that is of the nanometer, how much the light is being absorbed. Okay, if it is absorbed in 700 nanometer, then it is called as P700, and if it is the light is being absorbed in the 680 nanometer, then it is called as P680. That's all about the photosynthetic pigments. Next, we will be learning about the photosynthetic mechanism. So in the photosynthetic mechanism, we will be having the photolysis. Photolysis means breaking of the light. Then we have biological cycle, chemical cycle, the cyclic and non-cyclic. We will be learning in details later. Then we have photorespiration. So we will be learning C4 cycle and CAM cycle also. Then next we have the photosynthesis. So we will learn why the photosynthesis is important. Photosynthesis is important because of two reasons. So the first reason is that this is the primary source of food. So how much food is available, that is depending upon the photosynthesis. So primary source of the food. So how much food is available, that depends upon the photosynthesis. And the second reason is that oxygen released in the atmosphere, due to the process of photosynthesis. So these are the two reasons that photosynthesis is very, very, very important. What is the meaning of photos? Photos means light. Synthesis means manufacturing. What do we manufacture here? We do manufacture here the carbohydrates. So we do manufacture here the carbohydrates. So जहाँ green plant है वहाँ photosynthesis होगा ही होगा. Okay, so sunlight के presence में or in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, we have learned in the primary classes, photosynthesis will be taking place. Then carbon dioxide, from where we are obtaining this carbon dioxide? We will be obtaining the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Where do we obtain this water molecules? We do obtain the water molecules from the soil. So these two terms are very familiar for us. So if we are defining the photosynthesis in a simple term, we can say that the assimilation of carbon dioxide is termed as photosynthesis. The assimilation of carbon dioxide is termed as photosynthesis. So next we will be learning here the new terms. Let us see. So here we have a new term, that is physico-chemical process. What is the meaning of physical? We all know that it is light. Okay, so converting to light energy is being converted to chemical energy. Light energy को glucose में convert कर रहे हैं. So light energy is converted to glucose. Okay, it is we are getting the product as glucose. So here we have next is anabolic, the physico-chemical process. Then anabolic. What is the meaning of anabolics? किसी भी चीज का formation हो रहा है, any of the things is being formed, then we call it as anabolic. Then we have here anabolic and entergonic. What is the meaning of entergonic? So whenever the energy is required for this process, photosynthesis, we call it as entergonic. We all know the ultimate source of energy is sun. Okay, so whenever the energy is required, we call it as entergonic. Then uses light energy to synthesize organic compound. So they will be utilizing the light energy to synthesize the organic compound. And next, uphill process. What is the meaning of uphill process here? So here the carbon dioxide will be acting as a weak electron acceptor. So that's what we mention it as an uphill process. Then redox reduction. What is redox reduction? So water is splitting हुई है यहाँ. So okay, so water is being splitted. For this process, what do we call? When the water is broken, water is being splitting, then what we call that process as oxidation. We call it as oxidation. So here carbon dioxide is being converted to glucose. So we call it as reduction. And when the water molecules are being broken, splitting, then we call it as oxidation. So once again I do repeat, here you can see in the above equation, very important. So when the carbon dioxide is so carbon dioxide, when the glucose is formed from the carbon dioxide, what is that called? That reaction is called as reduction. And when the water molecules are being broken, then we call it as oxidation. Did you understand? So I hope you might have understood it clearly. Okay, so in the presence of the pigments and the light reaction, in the presence of pigment and light, the carbon dioxide is being formed, water molecules are being formed, the oxygen is being formed. So here 6 CO2 and 12 H2O. So these two are the lower energy compound. We can call it as lower energy compound. Here what is taking place in this equation? Lower energy compound is being converted to higher energy compound. So lower energy compound is being converted to higher energy compound. So transformation from the lower energy to higher energy, that is possible only in photosynthesis. So here we have the photosynthesis. Where the photosynthesis is taking place, we can learn here in the diatom. The photosynthetic contribution, the diatom is taking more. Then afterwards in the blue-green algae, and then in the other one. And rate of photosynthesis, in the C4 it will be taking place, then in the corals, then others. And eubacterial photosynthesis, anaxogenic. What is the meaning of anaxogenic? That is lacking, the absence of oxygen. Okay, then here 2 H2O molecules are being consumed and oxygen is being, one molecule of oxygen is being formed. So moving forward, now coming to the historical background. So here in your NCERT textbook, the scientist, the various experiments have been given. So no need of learning all the experiments, whatever they have done, that is very important, so that you have to learn. So here I have made it very short and I have brought it. So in the Moll's half-life experiment, what did he say? He proved the essentiality of carbon dioxide in plant nutrition. How much carbon dioxide is required for the plant nutrition? He says that Moll's half-life experiment, he proves that essentiality of the carbon dioxide. And Joseph Priestley in 1770, he telling that, explaining or describing, we can say that essential role of air in growth of plants. What are the essential role of growth in the plants? So next is of Ingenhouse. So what Ingenhouse is telling? He is telling the essentiality of light in plant nutrition. So somebody is telling about the essentiality of carbon dioxide, some are telling the important role of essential role of air in the plant growth, some are telling the essential role of light in the plant growth. So these are the important things we have to remember. So which scientist has described about the experiments need not learn, you have to learn what they have given importance, what they have done through that experiment. So in Ingenhouse again he is saying that green parts of plants could release oxygen. So green parts of plants could release oxygen. Bubbles can be formed. So according to the Ingenhouse. And also Engelmann is telling that action spectrum of photosynthesis. So what are the action spectra? So red and blue. Red is the red absorbs more light. Okay, that's what the Engelmann has told. And in Julius von Sachs, he told that glucose is produced when plants grow and glucose is stored in the form of starch. So what Julius von Sachs says, glucose is produced when the plant is growing, and how it is being formed, how it is being stored, it is stored in the form of starch. So according to the Julius von Sachs, he says so. And Engelmann had done this experiment, the action spectrum of photosynthesis in Cladophora, that is an algae that we all know. Then what is the first product of the photosynthesis? Glucose. Always it is being asked this question, so we often confuse with these questions. What is the first product of the photosynthesis? Then it is glucose. But what is the first stable product of photosynthesis? Then we have to say sucrose. And where it is being synthesized? It is being synthesized in the cytoplasm. And first storable and visible product, what is it? Starch. The first storable and visible product, that is starch. Where is it being synthesized? It is being synthesized in the chloroplast. So it is very, very important. Now next, moving forward to what Van Niel has said. So Van Niel had said that redox nature of the photosynthesis. So light dependent process, redox nature of the, he had done this experiment in the purple green bacteria. And what did he observe? Oxygen comes from the H2O, not from the carbon dioxide. He had come to a conclusion that oxygen is coming from the water molecules and it is not from the carbon dioxide. And his next observation was that hydrogen. Then where this hydrogen comes from? Hydrogen also comes from the water molecules. So he observed that oxygen molecules as well as the hydrogen molecules are coming from the H2O molecules, water molecules, not from the carbon dioxide. So that was the experiment he had done in the purple green bacteria. Van Niel. He is known as, his famous scientist, and he is known as Cornelius Van Niel. And next we have three scientists here, Rubin, Hazard and Cameron. So what they have discussed, they have discovered in the chlorella and through radioisotope techniques. So they have found that anoxygenic, the eubacteria are anoxygenic, that means lack of oxygen, and oxygenic cyanobacteria as well as the eukaryotes are oxygen. So that's all about the overview of photosynthesis in higher plants. Next we will move towards in the next class we will learn about the raw materials of the photosynthesis. What are the raw materials that which is being used in the photosynthesis?